This is episode number 2, and we're talking about the new Sully movie, doing some rapid fire questions, which I read that wrong, but I'm still going. And we're listing the top badass women on TV, our favorite top badass women on TV. And of course, answering your social questions. That's the best part about a podcast. You just mess up and you keep going.
Say anything.
Any given Sunday. Welcome to Any Given Saturday, the show that provides you both the fan and the critic point of view. Each week, we'll bring insight, reviews, and ridiculous banter about movies, TV shows, books, games, and anything else web-related. I am the fan in the equation, Dan Powers, and I'm joined each week by the critic mastermind, Bailey Hemphill.
I'm a mastermind now.
Hey, you're the mastermind in this equation.
I accept.
I love my pirate music.
And I feel like we should go pillage something.
Doom. Every time I hear that, I'm thinking like we're going to go watch Pirates of the Caribbean. It just reminds me. Have you ever seen Black Sails?
Oh, boy. I don't think I have.
Ooh.
Because he said that, and I was like, video game?
No. Well, we're going to get to it because I have something related to Black Sails later, but we'll get to that.
I have homework.
I like it.
Hear that, kids? You think you get out of school and you don't have homework anymore, but you do.
I did send you something to review. Well, not review, but watch this week. A little movie called Eater that came out in 2007 by the Duffer Brothers, which is also the people that did Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm. Which I did not note at the time because I just watched it and didn't actually read the description like an idiot. So
it's probably getting more views now than it ever has.
Oh, I believe that because people are probably looking them up and like, I want to know more about their work. And yeah, Eater was interesting. Clicked into it, didn't really know what to expect, especially because the title was Eater. But, oh boy, it kind of made my skin crawl.
It was a little creepy. I had no idea either when I turned it on. I figured Duffer Brothers is going to be probably a little bit creepy. So I at least knew a little bit like what I might be getting into, but yeah.
When you first sent it and like I started watching, I was like, oh God, this isn't Wolf Cop, is it? Did you ever see Wolf Cop?
I've never seen Wolf Cop.
Oh God. On Netflix, there was a horrible, like shitty horror movie called Wolf Cop. And it's about a cop who turns into a werewolf. And that's pretty much the entire premise of this movie. It's awful and so good at the same time. Like one of those movies you should probably drink a bunch and then watch it. And it's way more enjoyable because if you watch it sober, it's not going to happen. So
I've never heard it. Probably will never watch it.
Probably for the best.
But I did have 18 minutes to spare to watch this little flick by the Duffer Brothers. And
kind of same idea though. Like it's the cop at night in the police station. There's some creepy criminals in there, but there's one in particular who just something's wrong.
Well, if you want to see it, you can go check it out over at Vimeo. They got it over there still fired up, ready for you to for your viewing pleasure.
Check it out. Yeah. And then have nightmares for the rest of the week. I did.
It's really distracting when we start recording. Like the moment we start recording, my phone starts vibrating. Somebody texting me. It is a distraction.
What are they texting you about?
I got a sad face because I don't want to go sit at the school to watch a volleyball practice.
Yeah, no, that sounds terrible. So you should have a smiley face because you're not doing that.
I just sent a smiley face. We'll see how that goes over.
Probably not well.
All right, so you've seen something that no one else is going to see until today.
Yep. Every Thursday night I see new movies, and this week I saw Sully, which is the movie about the U.S. Airways Flight 1549 that crashed in the Hudson River. I shouldn't say crashed. They had a forced landing in the Hudson River. This is the event that happened back in 2009, and I think it was kind of one of the first social media like live viewings of a crash or like an event where everybody was watching, and it was fascinating. I remember watching this.
Well, I said even before this started, to me, it seemed like it was almost too soon because
It is. It really is.
I just remember the same thing, just watching it. And there's several things. It's really weird for me because you grow up and you watch the news, you hear about it completely after the fact. You don't have any video or you might get a picture, but now it's like everything is happening and you're watching it unfold right in front of your eyes.
I specifically watched this one happen on Twitter. Like it was I want to say it was one of the Coast Guard videos of the plane landing in the water. So you could see it land, and then you saw all the passengers bailing out, and then all the ferries coming to rescue them. And it took place within like 24 minutes.
It's crazy how fast some of this happens.
155 people saved in 24 minutes.
24 minutes. You know how fast the Hindenburg actually exploded and crashed and was engulfed in flames?
2 seconds. No, I don't know.
About 4.5 minutes.
Wow.
It was so fast it's a different dynamic, but it's just so crazy how fast that stuff happens.
Yeah.
And in a blink of an eye, you could be sitting in the Hudson River.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Hindenburg, we didn't get to watch live.
Yeah.
These things are crazy. Like, you're literally just watching it live right in front of your eyes. It's
reacting to it, sharing it.
So I'm curious to get your thoughts on it, but I'm really curious somewhere. You don't have to tell me first, but I'm really curious how they portray Sully, and is he a hero, and how bad? I know he's got. I don't want to say this. He is painted as the hero, but I'm really curious how ridiculed and how much he had to go through. Because I'm sure his life was just under a microscope for a long time afterwards.
Oh, yeah. It was like months. I want to say it was like 11 months or something that he had to go through investigations. And the movie is all about the investigation and him kind of recounting everything that happened. And you see the landing from all different angles.
So is this starting? Are you starting and going back and telling the story?
Yeah, it starts with him. He has like a nightmare about it, and he wakes up, and then it's the very next scene he's being interrogated about it. So, and then it's kind of like it flashes back and forth. I like the way that they set it up, because if it was just a movie about the actual landing, you'd be like, but I already saw this. So here they really dive deep into the background of how it happened, the decision making that Sully and his first officer had while landing, and then also they cover the kind of stories of the people on the plane as well as people who rescued them. So
now the people on the plane, do you get any perspectives, like looking through their eyes?
And it's scary. Like, there's one lady who has a baby. There's one woman who is with her elderly mother who can't walk. There's a father who almost loses his son because they get on separate sides of the wings. And then also you get the flight attendants who were super calm, super, just they did their jobs. Everybody did what they were supposed to, and that's why this succeeded. It's still so fascinating.
It is fascinating. I would be very nervous that I get on the plane with the airline attendants that to say, fuck, screw you, I'm out of here. I'm gone. But it is fascinating because I didn't know how they would take the angle or present it, and how much of it was building up to the wreck or how much was the wreck and then what happened afterwards. I really haven't seen the trailer. I tried to avoid it, and I just wait for your insight.
Yeah, you see the landing from Sully's perspective. You see the landing again from people watching in buildings. You see it from the ferries. You see it from a simulation that the investigation is doing, and they're like, you could have gone back to LaGuardia, and they're like, are you sure about that? Because the computer doesn't act like a human.
Did they use some real footage?
They showed they might have used some real footage in like the news scenes, but the simulations I think were very similar to the ones that they actually used.
What about do you get any audio? Did they even use audio clips? I'm assuming I wonder how much real. That's what a curiosity is like.
They used audio with Tom Hanks and Aaron Eckhart, who's playing the first officer, and they used the exact lines.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the actual transmission.
So overall, what's your thoughts on this movie? How?
I liked it. I think it's kind of weird for, like I said, people who saw this happening live. It's probably not going to have as much impact because it's we literally saw this happen.
Yeah.
For people who have no idea about this will be a great movie, great history lesson. I do think it's weird too that, I mean, obviously the movie was scheduled to come out the same weekend as 9/11.
Yeah.
And it is kind of like a New York rah-rah kind of movie where you're like, they had some bad times with planes, so they needed a good story about a plane. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I want to hear more about like what New Yorkers think about it.
Ooh, that'd be an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
People that were there, it's closer to their lives.
Mm-hmm. And people who lived through the actual attacks on the World Trade Center too. Like, does this movie bring back memories of that? Does it? Because people did say during the actual news report with Sully landing in the Hudson, they were like, I was so worried when I saw that plane. I thought it was going to attack another building.
There we go again.
So, yeah, I want to hear what those New Yorkers say.
That's an interesting perspective. These movies are a little hard for me to go to the theater.
Yeah, dramas are always weird in the theater because you're like, I would rather be at home where I'm comfortable.
And the one thing that is enticing about it is the fact they got Tom Hanks in it. I love Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks is amazing, as always. He even mastered like Sully's speech patterns.
Yeah,
that just kind of monotonous but like very calm, methodical way of speaking.
Yeah, he's. I love Tom Hanks,
and it's a Clint Eastwood movie, so I mean, you can't go wrong, right?
Yeah, there's. I spent some time up in Idaho. There's a nice little ski town that I won't say the name of just in case, but it's full of stars. And I never seen him, and it's bad luck, I guess. I never got to see Tom Hanks, but Tom Hanks would go up there, and there's a little fish place. It looks like a little greenhouse. It's the tiniest little place, and the people I work with would regularly go over there and eat lunch. And Tom Hanks eats lunch there all the time, and they say nothing but great things about him. He owns half the valley up there.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, he has a huge ranch.
He and Rita Wilson, his wife, they're just like. From everything that I read about them, they always seem like the nicest people, and they're just so involved in like other people's movies. Like they want to finance those movies.
Well, they have. I mean, he's got. Well, Bruce Willis has a house up there in Demi Moore, and they say nothing but bad things about those two. They own the local bars and everything, but they love Tom Hanks. When Tom Hanks comes around, people love him. Jamie Lee Curtis has like a little cabin on
stocked with Activia.
Yeah, right on his property, and it's like, yeah, I'm sure. Making sure the yogurt's in there. But anything he's in, I usually am willing to give a chance because of Tom Hanks. So.
Yeah, Captain Phillips, for example, that one, like I saw that one, and it's rough to get through, but it's a good movie. Yet again, another one that you would probably want to watch at home and not see in the theater. But yeah,
but at the end, it was a good movie.
It is. It's a great movie.
It's just hard to sit through a theater usually.
Yeah. Because you're like, I want to eat popcorn and laugh and watch things explode.
That's really what I want to do.
That's what the big screen's meant
for.
for.
That's really what it is anymore. You know, these kind of movies to me, I hate to say it, but they almost better deserve just going straight to DVD or go to home.
Or Netflix or something.
Or somewhere, yeah. I mean, I don't mind paying a couple of bucks at home to watch a good movie.
Me either.
I just don't need to go to a theater and go through that whole experience and buy popcorn and pop to sit and watch Sully.
Especially ones that are really like emotionally heavy.
Yeah.
You want to be alone for that. You don't want people to see you sobbing in the theater. I'm talking to you, people I've seen sobbing in the theater. You know exactly who you are.
Yeah, well, not me.
You totally cried through Star Wars, didn't you?
Oh my God. Yeah. There's an emotional attachment to certain things. There's a couple of things that really pull on my heartstrings. Watching Star Wars, when we walked in a theater and I watched that flick and it didn't disappoint, right? When it wasn't, a story about Anakin and like
pod racing and trade federations.
That was terrible. But this movie, like, oh my God.
The opening credits roll, and you're just like,
God, yeah.
It's so beautiful.
So touched me. That and, for me, Husker football, when they do the tunnel walk, like pulls at my heartstrings.
Oh, and this last weekend we had the Sam Foltz tribute, and it was...
That's those two things.
Everyone was clapping. The family was there, and you're just like, oh, God, I love this place. I love Nebraska.
So overall... Positive things about?
Positive Sully, yes.
Positive Sully, recommend it?
Recommended. Watch it at home if you don't want to go to the theater. If you want to go to the theater, cool. But yeah, recommended.
Any last thoughts about it?
The birds are the villains.
Oh, the only thing I've seen is everybody's bagging on the storks.
It was the Canadian geese.
Then why are we talking about storks?
I have no idea.
Oh, well.
It was geese.
It's always the Canadians.
They attacked us. They are the number one threat to the United States right now.
Yeah, the damn Canadians. All right, so we said we were going to talk about our top badass woman
Oh, boy.
on TV. So when we started this, I started making a list, and I started thinking through all the names. I thought, this is crazy.
There are so many, and you don't even think that there are that many.
And there's different definitions of badass. So I asked some people about, hey, who is the badass? I mean, we had talks at work and at home and at volleyball and everywhere I went. And everybody had a very different definition of what badass is and who they would claim as, the top. So for me, when we started this, I had to just say, okay, I'm only going to talk about current shows. I'm going to give up on all the legacy stuff, right? I named some names. You didn't even know who I was talking about.
Yeah, there were like 5 on his list, and I was like, I don't even know who that is.
Well, the Bionic Woman?
I don't know. But at least like Linda Carter, you put that on there. I was like, I know that one. If anybody doesn't know that one, they should be put to fire.
But then I also thought, okay, Linda Carter
is on everybody's list.
Yeah, but then was she really badass? It was kind of a cheesy. It's almost like watching Flash or Arrow.
That's
like I'm sure it's like, it's badass if I was 6.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
So like maybe that's not a good one. So I went all current, and I excluded all of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we talked about that. It was really hard to find Game of Thrones badasses because they're all badasses, and I can't choose, and he can't choose, and that could be a show itself.
The game should be who isn't a badass on Game of Thrones.
That's true. Ooh, that would be a fun one. We should write that one down.
Figure that one out.
Who isn't a badass?
There is a couple, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, Sir Pounce, the
Yeah,
cat.
the cat. So I excluded it. So that's how I came up, and we said we were going to do 3.
We did 3. With mine, I kind of chose somewhat more legacy ones, but I did ones that were more like my personal heroes growing up.
Ooh,
so
that's a good one.
Yeah, like things that kind of shaped the woman I am today.
That's a good. I like that take on it.
Yes.
Do you want to start with your number 3?
Ooh.
Actually, I got to.
Oh, you actually ordered yours. Ooh, I just threw mine in a list.
I ordered mine?
Did you?
Oh, that's not on what you're seeing. I didn't tell you.
Oh, you didn't?
I did not share it. You do not know who mine is.
Okay. Let's start with... Okay. Taranga Leela from Futurama. Did you ever watch that show?
I didn't.
Okay, it's a cartoon.
I know what it is, but... and I know the character, actually.
Created by the same guys who did The Simpsons. I loved Futurama. It was, 1999 to 2013, 14? They just recently ended it. But, Leela is a one-eyed mutant, essentially, in the future. And she's a spaceship captain. She's sassy. She kicks butt. She loves animals. Her catchphrase is "Oh Lord," which I sympathize with, but I really loved her. She was like one of my favorites. And she was voiced by Katie Seagal, who was Peg Bundy.
Oh,
yeah. Oh my God.
Peg Bundy. She actually got when I was asking around. She got mentioned a couple of times.
Peg Bundy was a badass.
As Bundy, and then she got named for her character on Sons of Anarchy. Yeah,
yeah. Katie Seagal could pretty much read the phone book, and I would be there for it. So, but yeah, if you haven't seen Futurama, check it out. Like if you like The Simpsons, lots of great stuff in there. So yeah, she was on my list.
All right. Well, I started, and I really struggled, to be quite honest, with this third one because I had a lot of names. Number 3, I had 2 right away that I came up with that I was happy about. Number 3, I can almost interchange them, but in the end, I decided to go with Jessica Jones.
I love Jessica Jones.
I thought Jessica Jones is the definition right now on current TV of badass, pretty much. Like, she's getting drunk and then beating shit out of everybody, right? Like,
that's the life we should all live.
And then when she's done, she's going to find the biggest man she can to sleep with.
Oh, and he is beautiful.
So she's number 3 for me. I struggled. I almost thought about Elektra from Daredevil.
Also good.
I had a few other people on the list. I thought about Vanessa Ives from Penny Dreadful was on my list. But at the end, I'm like, all right, I got to go Jessica Jones.
And that leather jacket she's got, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to be her.
And I love John Ritter.
Yes.
How can you not like John Ritter? So I gotta vote for the daughter.
Of course.
So that's not my number 3. Your number 2?
My number 2, Xena. I mean, this is like on every like 90s list of female badasses, but
didn't I send that in the message? Was that you?
I don't know if you did.
No, I texted it to my wife.
Oh.
I did text it.
Yeah. Lucy Lawless back in the 90s. I had one of those moments where I was like, I want to be Xena, but I'm also very attracted to Xena, and these are very confusing feelings for me as a child. But like, that outfit, she just kicked ass all the time. She got together with Hercules, betrayed him a couple times, and I just loved Xena. I still like, they have it on Netflix again, and I was like, I need to rewatch this whole series.
I don't know if I could watch it again, but
it's so cheesy, but it's great. It's a classic.
It was interesting because I was living with a few other guys at the time, and we had a house, and it came on Sunday nights. And it was the one time that everybody was around, and we would literally sit around, drink beer, and watch Hercules and then Xena. Or maybe it was Xena, then Hercules. But
it was a great back-to-back
We
run.
would sit and watch it. It was the most ridiculous time in life, but we watched every episode, and we're just like, oh my God, this is terrible. Can't wait for next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love Xena.
Very good choice. You can't argue that one.
Mm-mm.
My number 2, you're not going to know. And I got to find it. Annie Boney from Black Sails.
You're right. I don't know that.
Yeah.
We just discussed Black Sails.
Yeah. So Annie Bonny, if I say it right, she is truly, if you haven't watched Black Sails, first of all, I love the show. It's a pirate show, and she is hardcore. She is tiny, but she is ruthless. She has no problem cutting your heart out and spitting in your eye, and she is the definition of badass in this show.
Trying to figure out who the actress is here.
Is it Clara? Is it Paget?
Clara. It looks like that. It's probably we're not pronouncing that at all right.
No,
but
I have no idea.
She is tiny. Oh my.
She is. I mean, they make her look pretty rough there. If you look her up, she's actually like a supermodel.
Of course, they always are.
Yeah. But
she's 5'8" in real life.
Yeah,
oh wow. Okay.
She's tiny, but she is just absolutely hardcore in this. She's probably the roughest, toughest pirate on the show. She has no problem cutting out anybody. You know, they're stabbing them and just she's just ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. So that's my number 2. If you haven't seen her, she's pretty badass.
Now I need to do my homework for real.
Yeah, there's ups and downs in that show, but I highly recommend it. I love that show. I love pirates, obviously, with the intro music. So it's a great show. And they're about to come out. They've done 3 seasons. I think we're about to get season number 4, and they're going to introduce Long John Silver.
Ooh, yeah, because that's right. It's like a prequel to Treasure Island, right?
Yeah. So we got a Blackbeard in there, but we're about to meet Long John Silver in season 4. So I'm excited.
Ooh.
I'm a fan. I don't know anybody who watches this show, though. I wish I could talk to somebody else, but nobody watched it.
Somebody tweet him.
Yeah, tweet me about Black Sails. I love this show. All right, you're up.
Okay. I feel like this one's going to be very, very obvious for a lot of people. And also another show where I was like, which woman do I choose? There was Faith. There was Drusilla. There was Willow. There was Anyanka. If you don't know what I'm talking about right now, I'm talking about Buffy.
Willow.
Buffy was the greatest. I will fight to the death over Buffy. If someone's like, Buffy wasn't that great of a show, I'm like, you know what, sir? You're dying today. That's how I feel about that show. And Buffy was she was the perfect example of kind of what you should be growing up. You should be vulnerable, but also tough. And you have to be open to friendship, to love, to family, but also know when you need to set that aside and just kick some ass. And that's why she's my number 1.
I've never seen a Buffy episode.
I just died. Over here. What's happening?
No. It was a weird time in my life when Buffy came out, and I worked a ton, and I didn't watch that. I think I've seen, what's the other one? Angel.
Angel.
I think I've seen it.
Spinoff.
I remember seeing a couple of episodes of Angel before in reruns, probably years after it ended. But I've never seen Buffy. Other than the clips. I know.
I'm surprised you've seen Xena, but you haven't seen Buffy. Like,
it's just timing.
those were like the ultimate, like,
It really is just timing. You know, you start having kids, and then it's like, all right, TV's out, and then things start to calm down, and then you get
then
to
you're
watch
like, more
TV
TV again.
So it came in a weird time where I didn't watch any.
Ooh. Well,
much
the
TV.
whole series is on Netflix, so
I'm not really that excited for it.
what?
Maybe I'll try it. You know, I just watched. What's the other? We just watched True Blood.
True Blood. Oh
I
god,
can't remember.
I enjoyed that show, and then it like jumped the shark hardcore, but I stayed on because I was like, you know what? I've invested 4 seasons.
crazy.
Might as well.
Well, it's a really weird story. I shouldn't even tell it why we watched it, but I won't say his name. But a guy at work told me that every time he watches the show and there's certain scenes would come up, his wife would, for whatever reason, get aroused, and he would get lucky that night.
I believe it. It's a very arousing show.
It didn't work for me.
That
was why.
tried.
That's why we watched it.
You're like, maybe if I just, hey, honey, you want to watch this show? Nope. Okay. Well,
We tried it. It didn't play out for me as well. I gave it a go. For whatever 5 seasons or whatever it was. So
oh, vampires, werewolves was very sexy, and then like it got weird.
it was kind of a ridiculous show.
It's a very ridiculous show. So who's your number one?
So number 1, totally not what you'd probably think of a badass, but I went with Winona Ryder as Joyce Byers in Stranger Things.
No, she is a badass.
There's nothing more badass about a single pissed off mom, especially when they're single. Like, you're raising a kid, you're the sole responsibility. That is
Whose kid is missing?
Yep.
Do
and
anything
She
for
literally walked into another dimension to go get her kid.
She was. I don't know why people were saying like she was hysterical and everything. It's like
Hysterical.
Hi, yeah. If your kid was missing, you'd be the same way. So she was great.
There is nothing more badass than a pissed off mom. Like, when she walks into that, just when she walked into that little store and she wanted to get the new telephone, she's like, "You will give me this phone,
And
like,
you will give me my paycheck advance.
Yep, like
Oh.
you will do that." And you're like, I loved her in it, and I thought that is the ultimate. It's close to home, right? It's not even it's not even far fetched. Like, you piss off a single mom, and you're in trouble.
Yeah. Nope. That's very true.
So that's where I went number 1. Now, this list could have went way further.
Yeah. Oh God. We could probably talk about it for hours. There are so many TV shows that we didn't even cover, and characters who, I mean, they really keep coming. Like every
It
year,
is.
there's a new one. And
Can
you're
I
like,
ask you about a few?
Yes.
I will ask you. I'll give you the name. These are just some that people mentioned to me, and just tell me right off the top of your head what word or what comes to your head.
Okay.
So my wife, I'll just mention her. She said there's only one, Olivia Pope from Scandal.
I mean, she covers up all the scandals for the president while also sleeping with the president. That's pretty badass.
It's true. I mean, I couldn't argue with that one. I didn't know if it really set good for our demographic of this show, but like, I don't know if I want to admit that I watched Scandal with her, but nevertheless.
Hey, if Scandal's a good show, Shauna Lan, right?
We kind of died off the last season. They turned it into like a crime fighting show to this
Ew.
love story, and I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Yep.
No good no more. What about Claire Underwood in House of Cards?
The Cersei Lannister of House of Cards.
Enough said. Carrie Matheson in Homeland?
Way too many crying moments.
I don't think she's badass at all.
I don't think so. She seriously like is just crying and snotting all over the place.
She's a
What's
mess.
happening?
She is an absolute mess. I don't know why somebody told me that. Leslie Knope in Parks and Recreation?
Leslie Knope is one of my favorites. She's so great. She's basically like Madeleine Albright meets Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but like way younger.
I should watch the show one of these days.
It's so funny.
My time is limited. It's valuable. Peggy Carter from Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So sexy. I can't even like she's such a badass, but like also very, very attractive woman. She knows her shit.
I've seen one episode of that, and she beat up everybody in that one episode. So
She puts on those pantyhose like a goddamn boss.
I love that. Clark Griffin, The 100. Have you watched The 100?
I have not watched that show. Have you?
Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons and kind of watched part of the 3rd season. It's kind of fizzled out for me. First season was really interesting, and she took a leadership role. I don't know if I'd say she was badass. Second season, she kind of became a badass. Third, I don't know.
So she's a meh.
She's definitely a meh.
All right.
She's had her moments. The show was okay. Kind of lost it. What about this one? Walking Dead. I don't know this character very well, and everybody's going to hate us for that, but is it Michonne?
Michonne? From The Walking Dead.
And I got to say, my friend Kim said I had to say her, so just making sure I said Kim's name 20 times, like Kim.
I'm not going to pretend like I know much about Walking Dead because I dropped out after the first season. And a lot of people were like, you need to keep watching it because the first season wasn't as great. So,
but if you invest a season and it's not there. So I'm the same way. We went all the way through the first season, and I never watched another episode. I just didn't do it for me.
I think that was also on like the downside of the zombie trend where you're like, I'm kind of sick of zombies now.
It's just not, yeah.
Like you got sick of vampires after a while. Now you're sick of zombies.
Absolutely.
Now you're sick of apocalyptic movies. This is how this works.
Apparently this chick is for real.
Can I just watch her scenes?
That's
in
really,
the show?
yeah, just YouTube it. I'm sure she's just whacking some zombies.
Ooh, that's good.
She
I would
looked
watch
bad.
that.
I seen the picture of her. She looked pretty badass. She's like standing there with the spear and looked like she was ready to mess somebody up. What about Vanessa Eyes of Penny Dreadful?
Also very sexual.
A little.
Ava Green is like one of the people on my bone list. She is beautiful. I haven't watched a ton of Penny Dreadful, but that's one that I actually like need to catch up on.
So next week we should do the bone list.
Oh my God.
The section of the bone.
Which bone list? I have so many bone lists. I update them constantly.
I don't even know what to say.
The bone list,
right.
by the way, people, is kind of my list of celebrities and actors and actresses who are talented people that I like, but also very, very attractive. So I would bone them. Speaks for itself, but
it does kind of speak for itself.
I felt like I should explain because it's like, and I'm also not like discriminatory. So men, women, old, young, does not matter. I will take them all.
Very nice. Interesting. I don't have a bone list.
Oh, everybody should
I don't have an
list.
official list. I mean, it's like...
You don't write it down like Creeper.
It's a female. Like, all right.
Yep, she's there.
Like, men are very different.
Yeah.
I think in that way.
You're like, I don't know, she looks great. I would bone her.
Yeah, I think women look for certain qualities, and
that's true.
I don't know. I mean, I might not even be right about that, but men are just.
Yep.
She
looks
okay.
good. She's alive. Let's do it.
She's kicking. Look, she can walk. Plus,
she can. Oh my God.
All right. J. Wee Forrest asks us a question over on Twitter. His question: which is the better battle scene? Saving Private Ryan, Omaha Beach. I think that's the first initial act. Or Braveheart, the Battle of Sterling, which I think is the ending act of Braveheart.
Ooh. This is like comparing apples and oranges because you've got one that's like a dramatic war movie and then you've got a fictionalization of a historical event.
I just remember the scene where like Mel Gibson's going, hold. He just kept saying, hold.
Mel Gibson. Oh my God.
And then he finally screams, freedom. No, that's not the freedom scene.
I'm going to go Saving Private Ryan because that was an intense scene and it really set the tone. I like Braveheart. Don't kill me, but Braveheart is really cheesy. It's one that I don't mind watching and I enjoy it for what it is, but compared to Saving Private Ryan, there's no contest.
I'm going to go the same way. The cinematography in that scene alone, like, I don't even know why this question is relevant.
What kind of questions are you asking us, J. Wee's Force? Come on.
If you would have said, like, Lord of the Rings versus Braveheart, maybe, or...
It's always Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I can't even go that one, right? Like, because they have
to find, like,
battles.
A comparable battle.
But this one didn't do it for me. I mean... Saving Private Ryan is almost the number one epic battle ever. That thing is so graphic and violent, and the cinematography is fantastic.
And everybody parodies it all the time. Like, Sausage Party actually parodied it.
Did it really?
Yes, they did. There's a scene where all the food was getting attacked, and it was just like, this is Saving Private Ryan. Oh my God. What is happening?
Well, I think that was an easier question. Next time we need somebody to ask us a harder question.
Yes.
Or I like your poll idea where you've been doing some polls on Twitter. We should talk about those in the future.
Yeah, I every now and then throw out some kind of pop culture questions, just ones that are like random while I've been watching something or reading something. And so this week I did one. I've been watching the Back to the Future trilogy. And so Doc Brown's Great Scott phrase is a classic. But when you watch all three of those movies back to back, you're like, God, that's annoying. I can't stand it because he says it every 5 minutes.
A lot.
So I threw it up for a poll and I was like, okay, who annoys you more? Doc Brown saying, Great Scott, or Jay Gatsby in The Great Gatsby saying, oh, old sport. And 67% of people said Gatsby for old sport. But I was really surprised that 33% said Doc Brown. Like, I thought everybody just loved Doc Brown and would, fight me to the death over that. But apparently not as many people liked it.
It got a little old by Back to the Future 3.
Yeah, Western.
Yeah, that didn't go.
Why?
Although, you say Western, I can't wait for Westworld. Have you seen the previous one?
Yes.
I can't wait for that.
And Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, that looks good too.
Oh my God. Take my money now.
They do. They both look fantastic. All right, well, thanks, Jay Wee, for your weak-ass question.
Give us better ones next time.
All right. Kidding. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Number three was episode number 2.
It's so confusing.
I screwed up on the count. Just how I count. I like zeros. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please go over to iTunes and subscribe. You probably haven't since I haven't made it available on iTunes, but at the time you listen to this one, it will be. And while you're there, of course, we greatly appreciate any kind reviews you leave us. We're also available over on SoundCloud, Google Play, and various other podcast distribution channels. Between now and then, you can follow us over at Twitter. I am at fan named Dan, and
I'm at Bales of Hemp. Send us your questions. We want good ones.
Yeah, lots of questions. Otherwise, we'll be back next week still, so hope you can join us. Yada, yada, yada. Until then.
Any given Saturday. Not Sunday. No. Saturday.
If you've heard the first 2 episodes, you'll get that joke. I got to work on that.
It's an understandable confusion. I mean, you know the movie.
You see the iPhone release?
Yeah, I was watching all the snarky comments on Twitter from people who will definitely go out and buy iPhones.
Sold out already.
Are you serious?
Yeah, sold out already. Went on sale at like 2 a.m., I think I heard.
They say sold out, but I feel like they have plenty of them.
They play that game.
Oh, they totally do.
We only have 10.
Get it fast. Punch your neighbor. Run over an old woman.
I bet the Apple Watch 2 didn't sell out, though.
No. Why do you need that? My husband has one and I don't get it. You have one?
I have one on right now. I don't get it.
They look cool, but it's like, my wrist is telling me to look at my phone. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty weak. iWorks was weak. Announcement. Apple Watch was weak.
I love how all the people are freaking out about the headphone jack, though. Like, really? Wireless headphones were the next step.
You knew it was coming. Although the Apple ones were $160 and they look ridiculous.
They do. They kind of look like Smurf penises. Except for they're white.
All right. All right. Well, all right.
That's a new one.
Papa Smurf.
And it got weird at what time? No. No, it'll be great. I'm excited to get a new phone.
I'm not rushing, although the camera looked fantastic.
It did. Two cameras now.
That's freaking sweet. Time I get mine, there'll be 3.
Yeah, probably.